Good morning, I'm Brian Reagan, this is
Tyler Kelly.
and we welcome you to Mornings with Brian and Tyler. Today we're in Esther chapter 4. I'm just going to read the whole chapter. I'm going to take 1 through 8 and then Tyler will take 9 through the rest. When Mordecai learned all that had been done, Mordecai tore his clothes and put on sackcloth and ashes and went through the city, wailing with a loud and bitter cry. And he went up to the entrance of the king's gate, for no one might enter the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. In every province, wherever the king's command and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, with fasting and weeping and lamenting, and most of them lay in sackcloth and ashes. And when Esther's maids and her eunuchs came and told her, the queen was deeply distressed, and she sent garments to clothe Mordecai so that he might take off his sackcloth, but he would not accept them. Then Esther called for Hathach, one of the king's eunuchs who had been appointed to attend her, and ordered him to go to Mordecai to learn what was happening and why. Hathach went out to Mordecai in the open square of the city in front of the king's gate, and Mordecai told him all that had happened to him and the exact sum of money that Haman had promised to pay into the king's treasuries for the destruction of the Jews. And Mordecai also gave him a copy of the written decree issued in Susa for their destruction, that he might show it to Esther, explain it to her, and charge her to go to the king to make supplication to him and entreat him for her people.
So Hathach returned and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Then Esther spoke to Hathach and gave him a command from Mordecai. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces know that any man or woman who goes into the inner court to the king, who has not been called, he has but one lot, put all to death except the one to whom the king holds out the golden scepter, that he may live. Yet I myself have not been called to go into the king these 30 days. So they told Mordecai Esther's words, and Mordecai told them to answer Esther, "Do not think in your heart that you will escape in the king's palace any more than all the other Jews. For if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place. But you and your father's house will perish. Yet who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Then Esther told them to reply to Mordecai, "Go, gather all the Jews who are present in Shushan, and fast from me, neither eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. My maids and I will fast likewise, and so I will go to the king, which is against the law, and if I perish, I perish." So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther commanded him.
All right. So, remember what we said back over here, that Mordecai commanded Esther. Don't tell him your background. Don't tell him your background. And you say, but if, no. From the time that Esther began to be a queen, but even from the time she was taken into preparation before she was ever selected, Esther's been showing herself to be a woman of quality. Had it been known she was a Jew by the enemies of the Jew in the king's court, because obviously the king doesn't care about going on ahead and killing every Jew in every province. He doesn't care. He's fine with that. Do you honestly think it would have mattered to him before Esther was a queen? So Mordecai's wisdom. Mordecai was a dude, he could look out and he could see what was on the horizon when everybody else, is looking, oh, I can see as far to the end of my finger. Mordecai's looking, all the way out there going, yeah, I know. Don't tell anybody who you are. I'm your uncle. I'm in the place of your father. You're the only thing left of your dad's house. Keep your mouth shut, kid. And so she does. Because now all this time has passed where the king's opinion of Esther is favorable. And you say, well, no. See, again, I'll say this time and time again. Read the Bible for what it actually says, not the ridiculous romanticism that pastors and preachers and all those stupid books, bad girls in the Bible. That book was 99% conjecture. Okay? It had the potential to have been a good book. All the shady women, like the woman at the well with Jesus and all that,
So your Rahabs, your Mary Magdalenes, those fun people?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. And it tries to spin them to be, maybe worse than even what they were, but by God's grace, it all works out like peaches and sunshine.
Oh, nice.
you know. Don't romanticize and go, but the king loved Esther. He wouldn't have. The dude got rid of his last queen because she wouldn't come out and put on a show and show other men what a good looking lady she was. When you read Esther chapter 1, he was about that close to saying, I want you to come and put on an erotic strip show for my guests. I want them to know that I am such a powerful king. I got the hottest chick around. And she's like, no, I'm not doing it. That's why I said she always gets a bad rap. He will trade women because he's not happy with them. Do you honestly think he wouldn't have had her killed? Do you honestly think that if she would have been known, she would have ever made it to that place? Nope. Because he doesn't care if he kills a huge chunk of his population that pay taxes and are valuable for commerce. Well, Haman, you say we should go on ahead and kill these people? Sounds good to me. And Esther's response to her uncle, and her uncle's right. Don't think because you live in the king's house you're going to be spared. Why wouldn't she have been spared, Tyler? Do you remember why?
Because it was for everybody.
Yeah.
When the king says, the king says.
Yeah. And the king can't undo his own law about killing all the Jews just because one of them's his wife. That wasn't how Medo-Persian law worked. And so Esther's response is epic. Go on ahead, let's all fast. Everybody fast and pray for me for a few days. And I'll go into the king. He hasn't asked for me in a month. You know, someone, how could he not? Because he's busy running a world empire. And beyond that, he was kind of crazy at times. So, you know, sometimes you don't see your family when you work hard. And if you're crazy like he was at times, yeah, you might not see your wife for a month or two or 20. I'm sure Solomon had wives he never saw past the first day of, you know, his marriage. It is what it is. It's just the way kingdoms work. But her response, I'll go in. If I die, I die. But fair enough, uncle. This is what you've asked. I'll go on ahead and do it. Esther is a woman of character on so many levels. She's obedient within her family. She's faithful within her station. And she's righteous to lay everything on the line for good when it counts. Tremendous lady. Tremendous lady. She succeeded a woman who had some integrity, but she so far excels her in just this one instance. And then we'll see how excellent she is as our walk through Esther continues. Faithful to her family, faithful and loyal as a queen, and willing to stand up and lay everything on the line to do what is righteous for the benefit of all. Amazing woman. Amazing woman. Other thoughts, my brother?
No, sir.
With Adam Brian Reagan, this is
Tyler Kelly.
We bid you good morning.